Hello! I thought I'd come on here and share some thoughts I had. And the thoughts start with a little story, so I try to keep it brief. Yesterday I went to the gym for the first time in over 2 years. Obviously the pandemic caused part of that, and then also I've had 2 operations in the last year that meant it wasn't practical or sensible. So I went to the gym and I noticed that my relationship to exercise and my sense of strength really shifted, because about 7 years ago or so, I got really obsessed with weightlifting and I really put my mind to it, and with my, enthusiasm and commitment got quite hench. I didn't know what hench meant at the time. I thought it was an insult, but apparently it's good. And I loved being hench, or built, somebody else called me. I was packing on the muscle, I was lifting like twice my body weight, I was just feeling amazing. And that was great, but the negative impact was I kind of had a lot to prove. I was really hooked on being impressive and visibly lifting stuff that proved, how strong I was for my height and weight and all that. And so I noticed myself judging myself by this often invisible audience, sometimes visible people being like, "Oh, that's impressive," and sort of like using that as a guide of whether I was getting better and whether I was strong. And obviously, you can guess, can't you? I injured myself because I wasn't really listening to my body. I was just really focused on like what I looked like. So this time when I went in, I was like, don't let that little voice come back, Jolene. I was talking to myself, not out loud, like I am now. I was like, don't get hooked on trying to impress people. This first time you've been to the gym in a long time, go easy. So I did. And what I noticed was I felt quite self-conscious about lifting tiny little weights and really feeling it and being like, oh. But it felt good and I didn't hurt myself. And I also noticed, I realised something. I was like, not all strength is visible. I know it sounds really obvious, but I'm a slow learner sometimes. Not all strength is visible, and I have an invisible strength that I carry with me that has allowed me to come back to the gym after a really challenging year, health-wise. And I felt a sense of pride and inner power and strength that will way outlast any muscle gains or, raised eyebrows from impressed looking fellow lifters. And it got me thinking, I'd love to share here and then share the stories of people that have had that kind of experience, that invisible superpower or invisible strength stuff that we all have. I don't think everybody realises it about themselves until they've got through stuff or somebody might reflect it back to them. Because often when we're dealing with things that are hard, we're just busy dealing with it, aren't we? And we don't acknowledge like, wow, that took a lot. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to help people hear their own by me listening to them, their stories of strength. And I'd like to share those as a podcast. So my request to you is, do you know somebody who you think it would be great for me to meet and listen to and help support them sharing their story? I know a few people already I've got in mind. And as soon as I've done my podcast training, you'll be seeing podcasts from me. But do you know anyone? And do you have any other topics that you think would be a great theme for either a one-off or a series of podcasts on people's stories? Thanks for watching if you have. I really appreciate it and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Bye!